Hey, this is CJ, and I want to tell you about our new show, Minding Your Business After Hours. After Hours is your behind the scenes look into how we grow our ventures. We brainstorm, screen share, and work through the steps we're taking each week. Jump in the bullpen with us and learn new skills while getting stuff done. You can access After Hours by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/minding your business. This week on the Minding Your Business podcast, we're cracking social media algorithms, brainstorming like a pro, and building a personal MVP. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast, episode, I think, 32. I'm CJ Jolliffe with everybody's favorite co-host,
Aaron Gerald.
There we go.
All right.
So what's going on,
man? Well, today is the day, and it's much like any other. The sun has come up. You know what? It is so windy here.
It's windy
that we had tornado warning and like giant hailstones. Luckily, it didn't hit our house, although I had to cover my car last night with a bunch of moving blankets just in case, because I had to leave it out in the driveway.
Yeah.
And dude, we got sent some pictures from my brother-in-law of somebody out in Fremont, and it beat the crap out of the side of this hotel, broke every window.
I saw that. I saw some
floors.
pictures. Yeah.
Busted up all the people's like sunroofs, back windows. Like it was giant golf ball size hail, but it was flying at like 70, 80 miles an hour towards the building.
How far away is
like
Fremont,
sideways?
Guys?
Close. It's not far. I don't know exactly, but I know it's close enough we can just drive there, real quick. And then there was tornado warnings all around us, but didn't come right through Papillion where we're at. So we're okay.
Well, I'm glad you guys made it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'll just kind of touch real quick. I want to get on to something that's popped up on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
I haven't really been doing much with TikTok, although I have noticed that pre-scheduling a bunch of posts to go out for TikTok gets pissed at that.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, man. I noticed on YouTube, if I preload a bunch of stuff, which I've got like 45 or 50 shorts like preloaded to go out through like May 2nd. So it's like 3 a day, 2 a day. And I get promoted a whole lot more because the algorithm is like, this guy's taking this serious.
Right.
TikTok, on the other hand, it's my impression that TikTok, on the other hand, says this guy isn't taking this serious because he's not creating and spending time on our platform. He's just preloading it and then not coming to the platform. It doesn't care if I post videos. It wants me on the platform.
Right.
Because I have noticed if I upload something and I want it to be seen, I have to go look and comment on other people's stuff and then come back, then post it, then comment, then like, then share, then, from bottom up engagement on my own stuff, then go and bottom up engagement 2-3 more people after my video. And if I do that, I get 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 views. If I don't do that, I get 1, 2, 6, 20, 40, 120. Okay. Like it really greatly depends. I can then retake that same exact video, do the thing where I go and I wake up the algorithm, wake it up, tell it I'm here, that I'm doing all my stuff, repost the same exact video at an inopportune time instead of the exact time my audience is on. I can post it, do the stuff, activate it. Oh, it goes up 1,200. Wow. I'm like, well, this is stupid. I'm not going to spend this kind of time. I don't care. So I'm not going to do it. So I don't know. I've almost even stopped using it.
Okay.
As a blunt object to poke around with anymore because it's gotten so far from what it was. It's just becoming garbage. I don't know. I don't want to waste a bunch of time trying to figure out so what's really doing it. Is it the hook or is it the fact that I'm waking up the algorithm and doing this stuff and coaxing it into putting it out there?
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't put it out, then none of it matters.
Right.
But if the same video gets 4 views or 1,500, that doesn't tell me anything.
Right. This is the
So
challenge of like social media for a business, right?
mhm,
So you have to pick, here are the platforms that work for you for your type of content that you're creating, and here are the types of
yep,
content that you create. And it's so difficult. Like TikTok is, I really think it is meant
uh-huh,
more for like low quality, high engagement stuff, more of like a continuing
yes.
conversation, right? Or taking someone else, something they said, and reposting it and adding your thoughts. It's really community driven.
Yeah,
I
I
think
feel
the
like it's
more,
really more shock and awe.
yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah, exactly.
Whoa,
I
kind of
wonder
stuff
how you, I
rather
know that
than
you don't really, I know you have a Twitter or X account, but I know you don't really get on it. I'd be interested if
right.
you were maybe not posting the videos. You could definitely post the videos, but if you were asking questions, posting content and asking questions on X, I wonder how that would do for you. I feel like that would be a good place, but
Maybe,
you,
but
it's gonna be polarizing.
I probably need to go and get rid of the account I had, start a new one
Yeah, yeah,
so that it doesn't have because I've done so many random different things that it's like we don't know your audiences. We're not showing your stuff to anybody.
same. I've had a
Versus,
Twitter account since, I don't know, 2008, 2009, something like that. It was early on, and I have, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred like followers or whatever, but they're from many decades and many different things, you know. Probably most of
right?
them are from the fitness industry or supplement, industry, and
Okay,
anything I'm posting now is
yeah,
not gonna be very relevant to them.
right.
So it's a
Yeah,
challenge, I think, just getting an audience.
I've done a lot of different stuff. I tried to. I don't know how old mine is. I probably have 2 or 3. One for austerity health. I have one
Yeah.
for, Aaron Gerald. I have one. So, I think I had one for Broken Moon at one time. So I don't know. But either way, I think I need to wipe them, just delete them all,
Yeah.
and then start something fresh, and then try it. To try and learn another platform.
Well, and that's the thing, like, you have to look at ROI, right? So,
Yeah,
is it something that, like, so for me, if I'm gonna engage in someone's content, it's gonna be on X because I'm interested in being a part of the conversation. Um,
yeah, and you're on there anyway. You're
and
already
I'm on there
using it.
anyway.
For
I
me,
don't
it would
like
just be
I don't
posting
naturally
news
get
and
on
posting news.
Instagram or Facebook. I have to force myself to get on those places. But X is where I'm
Yeah,
going for news, and so I actually just posted 2 comments today, like, not even thinking about it because again, it's just natural. One
I
was kind of
see.
like a validation of something that someone else had posted. I'm like, "Man, this, as always, great content." And then I proposed a question, and then another one was just, again, like, "Yeah, thanks for posting this. It's great," kind of thing. So, but I'm not gonna do
Okay.
that on Instagram. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels
No,
different.
it's so crazy. I have posted stuff on all of them. But if you ask me like, "Well, which one do you use for" um, I don't use any. I use YouTube.
Right, right.
I use it for education. I use it for
Yep,
entertainment.
same.
But other than that, like none. Like, oh, I do use Facebook for only one thing. I've posted stuff on there just so I have a presence, but
Okay.
I don't. I blocked everyone I know. Like I can't stand the garbage everyone puts on there. So
Yeah,
the only thing I ever do on Facebook is um, go to the Hop Keto
okay.
website. They have
Yeah,
a page, like a private page, where you can watch them do the technique. So when you're at home, you can practice. Other than that, like nothing. Like I don't do anything on there. I don't take any of it seriously.
yeah,
So, and I don't take any of it seriously from any of the platforms.
yeah. I mean, first of all, you can't live there, that can't
Right.
be the thing that gets you up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Um, but
Yes.
also it's just like, I don't have the time, honestly, you know?
No, and I'm honestly always making stuff for the platform. I don't have time to watch other people's stuff.
Exactly.
So, But I have been posting a lot more shorts because, as you saw, my directioner now, he's doing a lot better on the editing of the videos, getting them more spot on the way I want them.
Yeah.
Still only committing to one a week.
Okay.
And I have posted, oh my gosh, I've created so much content for the membership, of
Nice.
which there's still no members. However, when they do come, they're going to see a bunch of stuff. I have built out quite a bit. If they were to join for even the $2 a month one, the lowest one, whatever it is, boom, they're instantly going to have access to the Leveling Up podcast, which is just a short, kind of punchy podcast.
Nice.
There's a bunch of extra videos created specifically for members where it's a little bit more raw, more like this, where I'm just chatting instead of
Yeah.
it looking more scripted, because I'm not trying to do a scripted video that's for being found in search and whatever. This is the way I want to tell you. And I'm not even going to make a description and a title I'm not even going to worry about any of that. If you're interested in watching it, this is what it's about. That's the title. Watch it.
Nice.
So I can spend more time on the actual doing, less time on the other. And I record them right here at the desk, like I'm just making them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a little bit more interesting. Anyway, I've done all of that. I've made a ton of shorts, and I'm switching up the shorts from being about 2.5 minutes to like 25 seconds, 25 seconds. I'm going
Okay.
much, much shorter, 30 seconds, because I have found when I do that, the views go dramatically up. They go, I can see it. They go up a ton. And so because they go up a ton, I get a lot more views, a lot more engagement, and a lot more subscribers.
Okay.
So I'm just going with that. I'm going to lean into that because what I found is I can batch shoot on one start, on my watch. I hit
Right.
start. I can make
Right.
sure I'm in the frame, make sure everything, boom, bam. And then I'll just record like 5, 6, sometimes 10 videos, shut it off, then pull that one video over into Premiere, and then I just clap in between. I'll do one loud clap, that's
Yeah.
video one, two loud
Perfect.
claps, that's video two, three loud
So you
clap, and
can
I can
see
just
it in the
look.
waveform. You don't even have to scroll through.
Right. I
Magic.
just look at the waveform and then I go clip it, and then I create a new sequence. I pull it into that sequence and then go from there. I am getting so much faster. I'm not kidding you. I looked today and I'm like, ooh, it's 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 let's see, we're gonna be there at 1:30 and it's like 12:55. And I still had time to edit, export, upload to YouTube, and then SEO completely all 5 of those and schedule the 5 out.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have had that much time to do it in
But
25
that's
minutes.
but
But
that's
I'm
so
getting
awesome.
that's taking me now 5 minutes per video. It took
Yeah.
me another 5 to shoot it. So I'm 10 minutes of video instead of 45 to an hour. Man,
And
my
it's not
volume now is going
low
so
quality video or low
oh, no.
quality content. I mean, I think that's the thing. Like the stuff
It's
you're
still
creating.
4K, it's
Yeah.
still clipped, it's cut, it's zoom in, zoom out, it's graphics, it's everything.
And it's stuff
So
that you can use over and over and over
mhm,
that will this may be a slow start, but
yeah,
eventually it will pick up steam. And like we talked about this before, every piece of content you create, especially if you can use it for multiple purposes, it's a
uh-huh.
net out there ready to catch fish.
Yes, and what I noticed is last week, I just taken all my long form videos, I threw them into Opus, remember? I
Yep.
clipped them up, and it made them into those little shorts or whatever. I posted those, they're not good. I'll be honest with you, they're okay, but they're not good, like, they're okay. I was still getting, because I had 3 shorts going out a day, every day I was getting 2 to 3 subscribers every day.
Nice.
Then it dropped to 1 video a day, and it dropped to, like, 1 every day or 1 every other day. So the volume, I'm like, "Gotta get the
Volume
volume
helps.
back up."
Yeah.
So I recorded enough for another 30 videos, but I still have 10 left I still have to edit and schedule. But YouTube is crammed out, like, with so many. So what I've been doing is basically I've been recording, like, mini series
Yeah.
of 5 videos per topic.
Okay.
And then I take those 5 videos and I spread them out over 5 days. And then I'll do another one and those will be spread out over 5 days, but 5 different days. So hopefully you're watching a series and then you get caught up because this series goes out at 6:15 a.m. This one goes out at 7:45 a.m. because my it says my subscriber base and my viewership audience is most active between 6 and 8 a.m.
Okay.
So I'm like, cool. I'll go out at 6. I'll go 6:15. I'll go 6:30, 7:15. Like I'll just put them somewhere in that time, and then I take that series of 5 and I put them out at the same time for 5 days. And so that way, too, like that's this series. I'm in a red sweater. The other
Okay.
series, I'm just in the dark shirt. In the
Right.
other series, I have a which I need some help with. The LUTs, all those LUTs are all like yellow and orange. I want some blues. And what I really, really want, and I haven't been able to find it, and maybe you can help me with it later, is I want that look that's like teal and orange, or like the blue and orange are the only two colors that are really strong. Everything else is kind of washed out. I'd really like that. Not for my videos here, but for something else I'm working on, but I can't figure out how to do it. I've watched some videos and they're really in depth, and I'm like, I can't. And then they're like, or just buy my thing. It's $25. I'm like, I'm not
Right.
buying your thing for $25. So
So to catch everyone up, you're basically your method, what you're doing right now, you're creating so much content, so much volume because you're basically trying to it's a brute force attack on the YouTube algorithm. You're trying to force your way in the door, basically.
yes, and I'm doing it like incrementally testing different things. So I'm changing up the time on the shorts. I'm changing up I'm not changing up me. I'm not changing up the fact that it's talking head. I'm not changing up the topic or I'm slightly changing the topic, but not much. It's all in the same genre. It's not like, oh, I'm talking about food and now I'm talking about I'm everything I'm talking about is relationship, communication, breakup, that kind of thing. Um, but it's different phases or different parts of it so that I
Okay.
can kind of test and see like, man, where are we at?
Yeah.
Where am I getting the most interest so that I can see if something kind of blows up. If it's just an anomaly, a singular anomaly where I then have to look at
Right.
that one particular video and go, what was it about this one? Or is it those 5 videos all got that? Meaning it's the topic that they surround that's the popular.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway, I'm testing so I can figure out what is the hottest button. So then I can take a deep dive into that and then hopefully go all out, because when I do that, then I'll shoot the videos from 4 or 5 angles and do a lot more stuff. I'll make not just binge worthy content, but I'm going to make viral worthy content where I do
Yeah.
all of it. I'm using visual hooks, auditory hooks, like everything all at once. But I'm not going to do that over and over and over and wear myself out on when I don't have the content, when I don't have the topic, the
Right.
subject matter right. It doesn't
Right.
matter if I do the visual right, if I don't have the other right. So
Right.
it's really about finding all of the parts before I waste all of the time, because otherwise it's time wasted or time invested. I want to invest the time properly, not waste it. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's where
What
I'm at.
man. I mean, I understand the whole like the thing with TikTok and just kind of feeling like you're
I
wasting your
slowly
time.
have just been I blew it out wide and then I
Yeah.
slowly climp all the way down. Now I'm down to back to just YouTube.
Yeah. Well, and I still think there's value in using TikTok for testing. Um,
I
like
haven't
I
stopped. I still preloaded a bunch
yeah,
more on there, but I
but I
just
definitely
checked a few
have
minutes
I
ago.
know that you have to go through and you have to prime your TikTok account. Like before you upload, before you like,
Uh,
you have to go in, you have to use TikTok for 15 minutes. And realistically, maybe even before you ever upload, you get on and you use TikTok for 15 minutes every day at these certain times, right? And you do that for 30 days. And then you start like there's a whole game. Like
uh-huh.
you see there's everyone has their own different way of, manipulating the algorithm. And I think at the end of the day, especially if you're not trying to be an influencer, if you're just simply a brand or if you're a business that's just trying to like utilize social media to get some eyeballs on your business, right? Like
Yep.
there's only so much time that you can put into that, right?
Uh-huh.
So um I think the hands down you're doing the right thing because YouTube is your channel. It is your medium. It is your place
Right.
to share your thoughts, your ideas, your interactions with people online. That is 100% you. And I do think that you could do really, really well on TikTok, but
Yeah.
yes,
I
it's more
think it would take
like
a different
TikTok
mindset.
could use you, but I don't know that you have the patience
Right.
for TikTok, you know? I don't know if
Right.
that makes sense.
It
But it's
does.
I
I
guess what it
honestly
comes down
feel
to
like
is like,
if
are you naturally a TikTok user? No.
no, God, no.
Right.
What I would say is if I had a TikTok, and this is going to come across wrong, but if
Of
I
course.
had a TikTok nerd who
Yes.
knew TikTok, did everything, and was like, thought that I was super funny or super whatever, and then just filmed me and then posted it, I bet we'd blow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me to focus the energy and the time, the all, I'm not doing it.
Right. Well, and again, I think TikTok is going to be more raw. So it's
Yeah.
almost like it's the stuff in between all the videos you're shooting. If you had an assistant, right, that was
Shooting
there all
all
the
the behind the
time
scenes and
and
the
all that stuff, that
outtakes
would
and
make
the yeah.
total sense for TikTok, just little
Uh-huh.
quips here and there, right?
Yes,
That would make
and
absolute sense.
shooting the videos, but a video of
Yes.
me videoing myself doing the video, then I think that would go
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I I can't be someone else and me. So,
I understand. And there's only so much, time in the day, and you have to use it effectively, efficiently.
yeah.
Um, so I have had a development in the last week. I
Okay.
finally, as much as it pains me to say, I finally took the plunge, and I am no longer using the free version of ChatGPT. I finally see the value. I mean, I've seen the value in a long time for a long
For a
time, but I
while.
finally gotten to
Okay.
the point where I'm using it, and it's like, oh, you're done until 8:30 tomorrow night. I'm like, I can't wait until 8:30 tomorrow night. So I went ahead
Right.
and just took the plunge. Um, so
Okay.
I'll talk a little bit about how that came about, and then I'll
Okay.
kind of share with you, like, we talked about quiz funnels last week. So I
Yes.
have I have an
An
idea,
update.
an
Oh, an
update,
idea.
an idea,
Okay.
and
It better
I'm not.
not be a big change because I did check mark every
Mm,
single thing on my list. I even shot the videos. Like I did it
that's
all.
awesome. It's not. It's yes and no. But before we jump into that, I just want to, the trend that's going around of um, the action figures.
Yes.
Like you take yourself and you do an action figure. I had to jump on it because a buddy of mine
Okay.
did it, and I was like, okay, I'll join in. I was curious to see what it did. So here we go. I'll just pop this up on screen. So
Okay.
I think it did a pretty good job. What's really
Uh-huh.
funny is like it did my shirt really, really well. The only thing I would say about this that it didn't nail is my shoes. They would be white, like Adidas tennis shoes, but it didn't have that in the
Okay.
picture. I did a few other versions because I was like, oh, I need to throw my dog in there. I need to throw a bear in there. Maybe
Right.
an acoustic guitar. And I'll probably get rid of the laptop. I don't know. And it progressively got worse and worse and worse. Actually, in a really humorous way, to the point at one
Okay.
point I had glasses and long hair. And I was like, hang on a second. Like, what happened? But
Yeah.
something I didn't know, okay, so you would know this, right? Something I didn't know is that it remembers everything that I've ever input into ChatGPT. Apparently, because this was in a siloed chat, okay? And
Oh, it's just started being able to do that.
okay,
And it doesn't fully communicate with all of the other silos, only when it
okay,
updates memory.
okay.
Because I'm talking to one chat GPT 40, and then I opened a new one because I didn't necessarily want it to do it, but then it referenced something from that. And I'm
Yes.
like, okay, pull up that information and let's do it. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
let's start by doing this and we'll create this. And I'm like, you already did that. And then I copy and pasted it from one and popped it into the other. And it's like, great, now that you've done that. So it didn't register
Yeah.
that we had already talked about that.
Right.
So,
So, like, right here, we have a whiteboard, right? So
mhm.
right there. On one of the later versions, it threw up on the whiteboard one of the book names that I'm brainstorming. It put it up on the whiteboard, and I was like, "Wait a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. That
Right.
is crazy." And it makes sense, but I'm used to it being not remembering things. At least not things
Oh, yeah. When you're not
outside of that
paying, it's
chat.
not doesn't you don't get as any memory.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, I took the plunge, and I will say, um, I am still there's certain things about Grok that I like way better. And if we have time, I'll show you one of them.
Okay.
Um, and again, I'm talking free versus free, right?
Sure.
But what Grok doesn't do is it doesn't tie into like Zapier. It doesn't. It's not
Mm.
as integrated as ChatGPT is. So
It hasn't been out long enough, so it'll come around, I'm sure.
yeah, it will eventually. But so that
So did you animate it?
I did not. No, no,
Oh,
I'm not.
okay.
I'm not. But so the reason I went ahead and bought it or paid for it, got a subscription, was quiz funnels, right? So next level of quiz funnels. I was just thinking through like, okay, we talked about some of the limitations based on like how do we score, right?
Right.
And one of the cheats is to make one of the questions in your series of 5 to 10 questions
Right.
be the
The
thing that
one.
really determines the answers, right? Kind of
Okay.
sneak it in the middle. That's the
Yep.
easiest path forward, right?
Right.
Um, and I was thinking about it and I was like, hang on a second. What if we tied in AI into the quiz funnel and we took the answers from the quiz questions, we took each answer, sent it to ChatGPT, had it analyze those answers and give a custom and unique response for every entry. And so that's what I
Okay.
did. But here's the caveat: it is not something that is covered in the normal Chat GPT subscription.
Correct. You have to
You have to
pay
have the
the
API.
additional API, and then it's
Yeah,
per chunk, and then
yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know that, and it doesn't. I mean, I don't think it's a lot of data. It would be like it looks like it would be 10 to 15 cents per entry.
Right.
But
It's not gonna be
but
a lot, and it
right, but if you
makes
do
a
that times, if you're
lot.
trying to get 1,000 people to fill out your form,
Uh-huh.
then it's like, okay, well,
You
is it $150? I mean, yes, here's the thing: cost per acquisition, right? These qualified or maybe warm leads, whatever they are they worth 15 cents? Absolutely. So I can't complain about that. But I think just going
right,
into it, it's like without knowing,
right.
I'm not going to do it for roast of the week. Let's put it that way. But
Okay.
I did build it. And so I don't know if you want to see it. It's not that beautiful, but it's functional. But we can't
Okay.
really like make it work until we, tie it into the API. So anyway,
Oh,
I just thought,
mhm.
man, taking quiz funnels, because again, more and more, and I'm not saying that lead magnets are dead, like a free ebook or a free course. I'm not saying that that's dead, but the conversion rate on those is like in that 2 to 3%, where a
Sure.
quiz funnel is in the 30s,
Yeah.
30%. Like, so it's not that these other things are dead. I think that they work as a secondary um, lead generation tool, but
Okay.
taking something like quiz funnels and making them even more dynamic, I think tying
Okay.
it into AI, and then there's all kinds of other things you could do with that too. Once you have that data in there, you could send it, you could do a lot with it. And so
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but we'll see. It's
Okay.
going to be one of those things where it'll hit me at 3 a.m. I'll be
Yeah.
laying in bed, not sleeping, and it'll be like, oh, wait, I could do this. So
Right.
anyway, I don't necessarily need that. It's not
So you
necessarily
got
a
this
need, but it's
picture.
something we could do.
You got this picture,
Mhm.
the action figure, by
Yes.
just prompting chat to
Mhm.
build it for you. Hey, make an action figure of me, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I just took my headshot and put it in there, and I said whatever the prompt was, and then gave it accessories, and it spit it out. I was surprised. Again, the first time it did it was really really good. Um, and then I like tried adding, like add a black schnauzer, and it added two. One was like mutated. it got worse and worse and worse. So, but
Yeah.
the first one was so good, especially like the shirt. Man, it just nailed. It even nailed
Uh-huh.
how I wear shirts. Like I'll wear a long sleeve shirt and I'll roll up the sleeves,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and it
I
just it
almost always have the sleeves rolled up.
Yeah. So, okay, I have other value that I'd like to bring today.
Let's
So,
do it.
I want this to feel like a little more intentional than just a conversation between like you and me.
Wait,
So,
this podcast
this part
today or the
this
entire
this
podcast?
well, this piece, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
I've been I'm conscious about how I position this. You know, what I don't want to come in and do is be like, "Hey, you listener, this is what you should do." Like in
Yeah.
a way that I don't know, is commanding, demanding, or talking down to the listener.
Yeah.
That is not my intent. So
Okay.
my the way I'm going to speak about it is more of like this is what I'm doing, right?
Okay.
I think that I think this can provide value, and this is where I'm at, right? So what
Okay.
I was really thinking about is like if I'm a product, right?
Yeah.
What what is my minimum viable product? What is the bare minimum that I am or that I can offer that should just get me out there and to like what is the bare minimum I have to do? Not saying that I am going to do the minimum, but what do I need to be bringing to the table? And it's got a little bit of mixture in there of like unique selling proposition, right? So my
Right.
meaningful difference. So I
Right.
just again, this is an exercise in asking yourself what is your minimum viable product and your unique selling proposition.
Okay.
So what I came up with was VIA: value, interest, and availability.
Okay.
So, number one, value. I provide value. This is my goal. My primary goal is
Okay.
to provide value to my clients, prospects, and just people around me. Right. So
Okay.
that means maybe I don't open my mouth unless I have something good to say. I don't know. As someone that can
Okay.
just talk and talk and talk, it makes me, especially in those types of situations, be a little more intentional with my words. And it's
Okay.
also me thinking like, not what can I do to get them as a client, and more of what can I do to help them, and then it will fall in place. That's how
Yeah,
I'm wrapping my head around it.
if you even can. Like,
If I
if
even
there's
can,
something to offer
yeah.
them, then
And
great,
if
but
I
if
can't
not,
help them, then I can, no big deal. Um,
okay.
so then interest. I have interest, right? So we've said this before on the podcast. Being interested is interesting, right? And I was
Uh,
thinking about it, and not only that, but it also it returns with compounding interest. Because the more interested in people you are, the more interesting you become, and the more they become in you, and it just kind of builds and builds and builds, right? So
yes. Okay.
interest.
Okay.
And then availability. I am available. I must be available when they need me, or they'll go somewhere else. So that's my minimum, at bare minimum. If I do nothing else, regardless of what business it is, I have to bring value. I have to have interest and bring interest, and I have to be available. So I don't know if that helps
Okay.
anyone. Again, this is just me kind of like stepping back and looking at my situation and
Ye
trying to look at myself as a product.
Oh, no, dude, yeah. No, that's really yeah, kinda hits. I'll just let you know it resonates. I understand, I get the interest, and just to, like, we all do, right? We just start applying it to ourselves as we hear you
Right.
talk about it, we start thinking and I'm thinking, "Man, all of them were like, ding, ding, bonk." And the last one was the availability, and I'm like,
It's
"Oh
tough.
my god, that is rough," because that's the truth. I constantly get hit up by new clients being like, "Hey, are you available on Saturdays?" "No."
Right.
And they're like, "Gotta have Saturdays." And I'm like, "Okay, best of luck. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to find somebody else. I'm with my children on
Right.
Saturdays. I'm with my family. I'm not going to do that."
Yeah.
Could I be booked out all day on Saturday? Yes.
Yeah.
Could I be booked out every night until 9 p.m.?
Yeah.
Yes. But I have to set boundaries,
That's right.
which means those boundaries affect my income.
Yeah.
Because
I
yeah, I could throw 25, 30 more clients on
yeah.
if I was just stayed open later and then just grabbed one weekend day.
Right. The goal is balance, not to become a workaholic, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because what am I working for? I'm working for my family.
Right.
Like, I'm wholesaling my time, my effort, my skill set so that I can afford to do things with my and take care of my family.
Yeah.
And if the time I would be taking care of my family is now spent wholesaling my time and well, then I'm just financially buying a family that
Right.
I don't get to be with. So
Right. Right.
not interested.
Yeah. You're funding the family, but you're not actually a part of the family. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. But that's the truth because really, um, that availability thing is such a huge one.
It is. But you have to do it inside of some kind of framework or
Right.
boundaries, you know? Um,
But you're right, because let's say, for instance, let's say you do work in the time period they want to work, but you're busy on a project that's going to take you another 3 weeks, but they need to start tomorrow.
yeah.
You can't help them because you're
Right.
so busy now that you're like, I can't squeeze you. I can fake it and take your money and then
Right.
string you along for 2 weeks until I'm finished with this project and then start your project. But that who does that help?
Well, and it's going against the value part, right? Because then you're not bringing the
Yes,
value, you're delaying the value, and maybe it's too late for the value, you know?
exactly.
So,
But I see that so often,
yeah.
especially, um, in construction and
Oh,
whatever else.
yeah.
You call them and they're, oh, we'll be there on Monday. And you're like, oh, good. Then Monday comes, they're like, sorry, we got tied up. I'm like, if you knew you weren't coming, why
Right.
didn't you just tell me you weren't coming? I took off work to stay here for it. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
when are you actually coming? So I can take off work. Oh, shoot. It'll be a week from Thursday. And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, 10 more days. Okay. But now
Oh,
you've already paid. And so
that's so
I'm
funny
like,
because I've experienced that many, many times in the construction, like home repair type things,
uh-huh.
where I stayed home for, because it's supposed to be this afternoon. It's gonna be Thursday morning instead. Ugh, yeah.
Yeah. When did
Which
you
which
learn that? And
and
they're
my
like,
thing
oh,
is
we've
like,
known that for before we took your job on.
yeah, like, you could have just told me Thursday morning, and that would have actually worked out a lot better. But
Uh-huh.
well, that's also, I think, it goes back to being, like, respectful with
Yeah.
people's, just times and schedules and, ah, you know, again, like, man, you don't have to have every client. You just have to have the right clients.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so
Agreed.
I was playing around. I have another I don't wanna call this a hack, but I have a prompt that has
Okay.
helped me. So,
To get that.
I
Okay.
cannot, like, I'm a very much a visual. I don't brainstorm by myself well.
No.
Having a whiteboard helps, but my whiteboard right now is, like, really small. So, I will do it a little bit on my iPad and writing and that kinda stuff, but it's
Sure.
difficult. And I also brainstorm much better with like with someone else. I need feedback. I need someone to push back. I need someone to
Uh-huh.
hear my bad idea or my half idea and help flesh it out. There's a synergy in that.
Uh-huh.
And I just like that's where I thrive. That's maybe
Oh.
it's because I'm just not very good at it. And I just need to be on a team. Whatever the reason is, it's much more
Well,
effective.
yeah, and I
And
wouldn't say bad at it. I think you it's
that
like
was a little
saying, "Well,
tongue in cheek, but
I'm
yeah,
not good at ping pong because I have to play with somebody else."
right.
Yes.
That's exactly it.
You,
It's
you
bouncing
kind of
those
do have to
ideas.
play with somebody
Yeah.
else. Yeah, I end up using chat for that so often. It is hysterical because I'm like, I need you to brainstorm with me, poke holes in my ideas, push back, be creative, be whatever. And I
Yeah.
do all these things. And then it's like, here's the 5 ideas. And I'm like, hate all those, but it did make me think of this. And
Right.
it's like, that's a decent idea, but have you considered this? And I'm like, oh, because it used to just tell me, that's a great idea. And it was just a
Yeah.
big cheerleader. And I'm like, but I don't know if it is or not. It doesn't feel good. I still feel like
Yeah.
it could be better, so now I tell it, push back on everything.
Yeah.
Like, do not try to keep me happy.
Yeah.
I'm happiest when I'm being confronted. So
Right.
confront me with ideas, with whatever, but always come at it from another angle.
Yeah. So at the end of my like discussion, because I don't know if you're typing, but I can't do this and type. I get too fixated on the typing and then trying to say it right. That's actually one of the things that's really
Oh,
held me back. I can't do it. It has to be a conversation. So
oh my God. Okay.
I am
So
now just talking and having
with,
a just casual conversation and rambling, right? I get to ramble because one of the places that
uh
I'm most creative is in the flipping car. Like
yeah,
driving down the highway. I have my best ideas when I am locked in or like in the
yeah,
shower, which I can't make this work in the shower, but
right.
yeah, yet. Um, but at the end of it, I can just simply tell it, hey, make a mind map outline for everything we just discussed. And takes it and it gives it in a outline form, and I basically like get a structured outline of everything that was brainstormed, and it's a synopsis. It doesn't have to be like a lot of detail, but also
Okay.
everything that was said is tracked in that prompt in that chat, I should say.
Yeah.
So I
Interesting. Now,
had like
do
go
you
ahead. Yeah.
talk?
I talk. I do not type.
Okay.
I can't do it.
On the Mac, you can download it as an app,
Okay.
which gives you the microphone,
Yeah.
not the one where it talks back to you. You talk and then you hit enter and it puts all of your stuff in and then it does it. So it's all typed.
That's
You can
okay.
you
Yeah,
can
but
do the one where it's just the voice and it talks back to you and it talk. My trouble is I'm constantly telling it stop freaking answering until I ask for your response because
yeah.
I do all those weird pauses, right? So
Yes.
I'm talking along and it's like, well, and I'm stop, I'm not done. And then I have to keep going and then I'm like, stop, I'm not done. And
Yeah.
then but I say stop, I'm not done like 50 times and I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I have to tell it, do not respond until I say, please respond.
Right.
And
Right.
sometimes it does it and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because
Because you
if
do
I'm
pause.
asking
Yeah.
question and I ask another question, I ask another question, it'll just start answering them. I'm like, stop, answer all of those at once when I ask for a response.
I don't have that problem as much. For me, it's just a stream of consciousness that's being
Oh,
like verbally
oh
vomited, just,
man.
ugh.
I because I will sometimes pause and think, should I use this word or this word? Nope, not either one of those words.
Right.
This word to be, and then it starts answering, and I'm like, stop! I
I
haven't even
just
given you the point yet. Like, I
it's just a
can't.
direct connection between my brain and my tongue. There's no deciphering in the middle of it. It's just bleh, the
Yeah.
ideas. And so like there's something like, you would probably agree with this from all your, therapy experience and stuff, but like there's something about saying something out loud, just someone unloading
Uh-huh.
their thoughts and their feelings.
Yep.
If you don't even respond, they're already in a better place because they've spoken it and they've
Yep.
heard them say it. And for whatever reason, it gives them a little more clarity, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's that happening, but then
Right.
it's going through and pushing back on ideas, but also then taking notes, right? Like it's kind of like having, an assistant that's just,
Smart.
I don't know. It's really, really
Hearing
helpful.
everything, not just
Yes.
picking up and putting it through their filter. I
Yeah.
think that's the beauty is there's the filter is much tighter. I
Yeah.
feel like it's picking up more of everything. It
Yeah.
does jump to conclusions sometimes, but
Sure. Well, and it's like anything else, man. This is not it's not the end all be all, right? But
I know
man,
it
every
honestly,
little
it's a
thing.
tool. Yeah.
Yeah. I had, I don't know, maybe it was a manic fit Sunday morning. I woke up a little earlier than normal. I think I was up at like 4:15
Okay.
and I was just like ready to go. Just ready. Just I was in a very like problem solving and creative space.
Okay.
And I went through I think 4 of the businesses and started working on here's the marketing plan, here's what we need to do next, and this, we just went through the whole thing. Um, learned a couple new things of like ways to do things. And I worked on the book for a bit. I've got some.
Okay.
I've got 5 working titles that we can go over in after hours, but
Okay.
I have again verbal diarrhea, right?
Huh?
Um, I have 74 questions so far. And this is where like did the AI write it for me? No. But what the AI did do is help organize it into sections. Like that is
Yes.
helpful. So incredibly helpful.
Yeah,
So,
because you can take what you have, plop it in there, and say, now organize this by idea, organize it by thought, organize it by, and it will categorize. And you can even say, read all of this information and then put it into appropriate categories, and it will
yeah.
categorize it. And you're like, don't like those, and it'll
Yeah.
redo it.
Yeah.
It's so much better than having a person do it because
It's
their
faster.
feelings don't get hurt.
Yes.
Although, have you
Yes.
noticed if you're too aggressive with it, it it's like the answers sort of shortened down. It like kind of gets the same mood. I
It
feel
gets
like
butthurt.
it's No, I don't think it's that. I think it takes the form of communication that you're giving it, and then it repeats back so it's
Okay.
speaking
Yeah.
your language. So if it knows you're short, you're chippy, you leave out a bunch of words, you're speaking in a third grade level, it's going to do that back.
That's really
If
funny because the way that like it talks to me is like it's very dude. It's very dude. It's it's like
because I
I
think
like, hey,
that's the way
what's going on
you
today? How you doing? And it's like,
that's how
oh, just
you
vibing,
communicate
just
with
feeling the
it.
digital vibes. Go like, I'm like, what are we doing here? This is weird.
Uh-huh. It
Oh man.
definitely reflects back what you give it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of people be like, you can it's the because it's alive and I'm like, it isn't. It's a text predictor and it's predicting text and sending it back to you based on what you're sending it.
Okay.
Of
Yeah.
course you're
Yeah. Yeah.
going to
Right.
affect it.
Right. Do we wanna try one real quick? Just do the live, like do a live brainstorm. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, do you want to
I'm
do it
feeling
after
groggy.
or do you want to do it? I don't know if that's quality podcast fodder.
I mean, it's entertaining, right?
Okay. All
I
right,
don't
fine.
know. I think it is. And if it's not, then hey, you can fast forward. This is we'll
Right.
do this and then
Okay,
we'll wrap
deal.
up and go into after hours. How about that?
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So I don't know, what should we brainstorm?
Oh my God. First of
How to
all, I'm
grow a podcast?
interested. Yeah, I'm interested to hear the voice you chose for your
Well, it's Grok. So I'm not
oh,
again like I so between Grok and ChatGPT, don't tell ChatGPT, but especially for the voice stuff, I just prefer Grok.
okay,
So
fair enough.
now
No,
this will be your exposure to that.
I haven't tried the voice thing with Grok. I haven't done much with Grok, honestly.
Well, here
Um,
you go. So I have my Grok app.
okay,
I'll just kind of hold it close to my mic.
okay, and
So
hopefully it'll pick it up.
I'm going to voice mode. Share mic with Grok. Yeah, you do that. Allow. Hey, how's it going today?
Yo, I'm feeling as chipper as a sunny morning. How about you? What's the vibe today?
Well, I'm just on a podcast right now, and I thought that maybe you and I could brainstorm how to grow this podcast.
Oh, that's awesome. You're live on a podcast. All right, let's brainstorm some killer ideas to grow it. First,
Okay.
consistency is key. Stick to a regular posting schedule to keep listeners hooked. Maybe try cross promoting on social platforms with short, punchy clips from your best episodes to grab attention. Engaging with your audience through Q&A sessions or polls can build a loyal community too. Want to dive deeper into one of these or toss out some specific goals you've got for the podcast?
I mean, we're totally doing that. I guess what it comes down to is like, how long should we do this without seeing like, I don't know, big growth? Like when should we expect growth? What's the average growth rate of a podcast?
Great question. Growing a podcast takes patience, as growth rates vary widely based on niche, marketing, and content quality. Industry data suggests the global podcasting market is expanding at a compound annual growth rate of about 27% from 2025 to 2030. But individual podcast growth is trickier to pin down. For most new podcasts, noticeable traction, steady increases in downloads or subscribers often start showing within 6 to 12 months of consistent episodes, assuming you're promoting actively. Expect slow growth at first, maybe a few hundred downloads per episode in the first 3 to 6 months if you're in a niche with decent demand and you're leveraging social media, guest appearances, or cross promotion. Shows that hit the top charts often take 1 to 2 years to build a big audience, especially without a pre-existing fan base.
Okay, that's cool. Hey, that's probably enough for right now. But I appreciate, you like talking to me and stuff. And I don't know, this is all of a sudden is getting weird. So I'm going to go ahead and leave. Let's turn it off. So like,
No worries at all.
Okay,
I
she's
get
still
it.
talking to me.
Thanks for the chat, and you're killing it with the podcast.
Wow.
Catch you later whenever you want to brainstorm more.
Cool. So the creepy thing about all that is that like I turned my iPad off and it was still going.
Whoa. Hold up. Did things just take a spooky turn? What's the
Okay.
creepy vibe?
Okay. Leave me alone. Stop. God. Okay. Creepy thing. Okay. So it's listening all the
I
time.
still on with them out.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So like that was
Yeah.
actually not a very good example because it was just like I didn't go in with a lot of intentionality, right? I didn't tell it I wanted to really
Yeah.
brainstorm. I didn't tell it like what I was looking for. I didn't tell it to push back. I just kind of like that would be the example of
Yeah.
like in me instead of Googling, I'm gonna go there and just like get like again while I'm driving down the road, I want some information. So I know now like just kind of we're doing some things right. What we're not doing is really having guests on. That's where we started. We wanted to start this thing with like telling people's stories, right? So I
Yeah.
think like there's definitely an opportunity there. But knowing like it's a 1 to 2 year process of consistently while also consistently promoting. Like that makes sense. That's what I would tell anyone else with any other venture, right? Like, are you
Yeah.
willing
Oh,
to put in two
man.
years of not seeing, much return? At what point do you say, I'm done, I'm tired? Says
This is
says
one
the
of
guy
those
that's just
things
like
where,
all the YouTube, and he's just like,
oh
oh God,
my
help me.
God, this is one of those times where it just makes your brain hurt because you already know something, but you've done your best to try and forget it.
Yeah,
Then when it's brought back up, you're like, come on. Um, yeah. I know we've talked multiple times about guests are great, but the best guests are like other people in a complementary niche
yeah,
for our audience that we could then go do cross promotion, right?
right,
We talk
right.
to them, they talk to us, we share, we do it. And I'm like, that makes sense for a podcast, but what I'm doing, oh my God, the most popular channels all do that on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yep.
And I haven't reached out once because I'm terrified.
What are you scared
It's
of?
so funny. Like I'd call and do it for minding your business because I could just think I'm calling for you, not a
Right,
problem.
right.
But if I have to call for me, then I'm like, hey, I think I could offer you this. Oh, why do I think that? Like, why would I?
Yeah,
So it's one of those things where it's like I could pay someone to do it for me and then I could go in strong. But if I'm doing, I don't know, there's something schmarmy that
well, it
it just
reminds me of like
feels,
networking groups, right? So
yeah,
I'm not a big fan of networking groups like chambers of commerce and that I'm not saying they're bad, but when they have like their social hour, their like networking events, that kind of stuff, everyone goes in with their business cards, and all they're there for is just to just, especially the people that are new, you can tell they're hungry, and I think hunger is great. Drive is amazing, but
yeah,
you come on a little strong. And
yeah,
so what I've been a part of like lunch groups, networking groups before, but they were more organic. And I was really lucky because I had a buddy and he basically was really good at breaking ice. And he would go talk to some random person and be like, "Have you met CJ?" And then
yeah.
I'm not a
We've
icebreaker. I
talked about
hate breaking
that.
the ice, but I will sit and listen to someone for hours. I love it's
Yeah,
that going back to being interested, right? I'm
yeah,
interested. I want to hear, right? And
yeah,
so got a lot of like built a lot of great relationships that way. And we would tag team because he
yeah,
was great at breaking the ice, but he didn't have the patience to listen to anyone talk for more than about 5 minutes.
yeah.
So
Sure, sure, sure.
and I would then promote him. So it's kind of like when you become self-promotional in those types of situations, it feels a little icky, a little gross, right?
Yeah,
But if
for
you have
sure. Like
someone
it's
that's a buddy that can kind of
oops.
promote you and you promote them, then I think it
Yeah.
works.
And you know what? That's interesting because I'm like, I've almost gone to a couple of chamber of commerce business things and whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to go, I'll go. But for the first 3 times, I'm never going to tell anybody what I do.
right.
Like
Yep.
I'll go, I'll find out what they do. If I feel like I can help them with something, then I'll let them know. But I'm not going to be like, well, great, guess what I do? And even if they ask me, so what do you do? Be like, oh, you know what? I'm not in a position at the moment to talk about that.
Well, and at the same time, like you can't
Like, I
be
don't want to sound secretive, but at the same time, like I'm
yeah,
not here to promote myself.
but there's nothing wrong, especially in a situation that is like that for that to do it. I just for me, it personally feels a little gross, you
I
know?
don't care for it because then they're like, oh, never mind. I don't need to know that. I don't need anybody like that for you. I don't need them to brush
Right,
me off because of what I
right.
do.
Yeah.
I'm there to meet them because of who I am.
It's like speed dating.
If what I do can benefit them, great, but I need them to know me for who I am, not for what I do or what I can
Right.
offer them.
Right. It kind of go that to me that goes back to you have to connect before you like correct, right? So like
Yeah.
someone has to see you as an expert or see you as someone that values them. What's the thing that like Amway used to say? People don't care how
They
much you
don't
know.
care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would like to go meet everybody, talk to them all about what they do, and then do a presentation to introduce myself on the third
yeah,
or fourth one or
yeah,
something. Great.
yeah,
Because then I can do a presentation that I know is going to specifically help the group I'm talking to
right. Right,
versus,
it's
yeah.
not just a presentation you pulled out of the library. You can actually get to know the people and see some specific needs and be like, "Ah, this would be a good fit."
Yeah,
You
I
know?
know this is going to help this person, that person, that person, that person. Boom.
Yeah,
And then just leave it, not ask for anything, not do a call to action. Now, if everybody needs appointment, come on. Nothing. Just
yeah,
do it and then leave. And then them feel like, man, this guy gets it. If you know what, let's do it. But I'm like, I don't know any. First of all, I don't know any YouTubers. Second of all, I don't know any podcasters. Third,
right.
I don't know any okay, I could go to a couple of professional networking things
Yeah,
and find people in other
and there are
businesses and whatever, but
services and groups you can join and that kinda stuff. That's something I've thought about. That's something I know that we're not doing, you know?
right.
At the same time, I don't know. I guess
It's
my whole
kind of
thing is like
it's a joy suck.
that's
It's
right.
gonna
So
suck the joy out of what we're doing.
I that's
But
the thing. Like this for me, it creates joy. I enjoy doing this, not because I get to hear my voice or anything like that. But
right,
again, it goes back to the like I feel like I'm trying anyway to create value, right? And so I look at it again. It's a long game. I think every episode ends up being a net. Every clip from
right,
every episode that we put out there is another net, and eventually all these things will compound and it will create interest, right? So I
right.
just I think it's just a matter of time, and it's like we've talked about, like the right people, your people will find you. And I don't necessarily you can expedite that, but
You
to
can,
expedite that,
but
you
you
are
know
going to
what?
find a
At
lot of
the
people that aren't your people to sift through them and then
first,
find your people through those, right? So, I
right.
don't know.
You can do that, but you're still sifting, and it's crazy because I was talking to my wife, and I was like, you know what? I noticed something big, and that's that volume game. If I put out enough videos, the chances of them sprinkling out and finding my people faster are much greater.
Yeah,
Plus, when I do find my people do find me, they now have a plethora of stuff to watch
yeah,
versus just coming and finding 2, 3 video or 4 videos and being like, well, eventually maybe because it's we were laughing and joking because we've gotten to the point in our lives where we see somebody, but oh my God, dude, have you seen this new show? It's amazing. You got to watch this show. And we're like, great. We get on there and we're like, what are they talking about? There's only 3 seasons.
yeah,
I don't even watch a
yeah,
show till it has at least 4 seasons. I'm not going to invest in the characters and the show and all of that just to have them do 2 seasons and drop it. I understand the irony because if not enough people watch it in the first 2 seasons, it doesn't make it to 4 seasons. But
right.
the other trouble is that when we do watch something in season 1, season 2, we're like, we can already see the downfall right there because they're always trying to one up, one up, one. I don't know if you've watched, well, I'll give this example. I don't know how good of an example it is, what it says about me, but Righteous Gemstones.
I know what
So
it
it's
is. I
on
haven't watched it.
it,
Yeah,
it's on Max or whatever.
yeah,
Watch the first season. It was pretty good, pretty funny, pretty good. It was a little out there. By season 2, it was so far out there that I'm like, God, I don't know. There's only like if this exponentially continues, like
right.
it's going to get to the stage of ridiculous and it's not even going to be funny anymore.
Yeah,
And we tried to watch the newest season and I'm like, oh, this is caca. Like this is garbage. Like
yeah. You have to outdo
you
the
sold
previous
us
season.
on the characters and what they were doing, not on their outrageousness.
Right.
Yes, they're a little outrageous, but we put up with the outrageousness for the characters.
Yeah,
Now it's just all outrageousness because you keep one upping, and now you're so far that you're like, oh, never mind.
yeah,
So even if there is another season, I wouldn't be interested in it.
yeah.
I'm not even interested in this one.
I mean,
So
businesses do the
it's
same thing
tough.
though, right? You have like your purpose right? That you're supposed to be, here's why we're doing what we're doing. And then over time you drift further and further away from that. And you have to guard that. You have to, I think as a leader, you have to continually, constantly, almost to the point of nausea, cast vision. If you don't cast vision to your team, you're
You
not being
drift.
intentional and you're just letting the wind take you wherever you're going to go. And
Right, or you focus on the wrong thing. You're not
yeah,
focused on the characters, you're focused on their outrageousness.
right.
That was a terminal flaw that they
Yeah,
did on that show.
yeah,
Just done. It's so funny because you watch, and maybe this is gonna age me, but shows like Seinfeld.
yeah,
It could have gone another 20 seasons
right.
because the characters were the story.
Yep,
That's it. You fell in love with, you liked the characters or you didn't like the characters, you liked the part, you didn't like it, whatever, but they were them. And they didn't try to go more outrageous every episode. They weren't building up to something. It was just what it was.
right. And it was
There are
episodic.
shows like
It
that
wasn't
where,
that there wasn't like a storyline that was being told through a season, that's
right,
being drug out over 14 or 24 episodes. That's actually the kind of stuff like I love binging, getting through the storyline. But man, I tell you
right.
what, like you talk about like, if there's only 2 seasons, then I don't know if we're in. I'm like, oh man, how many episodes are there? If it's 8 episodes, maybe I can make it through it. If there's 14, can we just make a movie? And that's I think that where my like attention span is just telling. Like I am down for a 3-hour movie. Like there's time in a 3-hour movie for
Okay.
character development and to expedite
Okay.
the storyline. But when they drag something out
Okay.
across 12 episodes without the need to, that's what I
Granted.
find like really annoying. One of the things that has done that, like, I don't know, I'm not trying to pick on it, but the Lord of the Rings series on Amazon, it feels really slow. What is it called? I don't even remember. It's something
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. Yes. It is a
Uh-huh.
great story, but there are
Uh-huh.
parts that could be
That's so
edited
funny.
quicker.
It's so
You
funny.
probably
My
love it.
wife and I,
Yeah.
we watched it and we're like, that could have all been done in 8 minutes. They
Okay.
could have done that
Yes. So
entire
thank you.
episode in 8
Yes.
minutes. Like,
Right.
what was happening?
That is
That
my
was
point.
a enormous waste of time. Like,
Right.
I appreciate the character, I enjoy being sucked up into the story and the genre and the
Yeah.
whole thing, I get it. But there was no story told. There was
Right.
nothing of value gleaned from it. We could have skipped this episode and missed nothing. This
So
whole entire episode could have
yes.
been the what is it? The thing at the beginning when they give you the
The
catch up,
synopsis,
like
the
you, oh,
your
catch up,
recap. Yeah.
recap. That entire episode should have been a recap.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring this thing home, right? So
That's
what you're saying is your time is more valuable than that. Like, yes, you are looking for
yeah,
entertainment, but like when shows like that, or when we, as just people that are serving clients, waste time and don't bring value that we're expected to bring,
right.
it decreases our value.
Then yeah, it feels bad. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it is about that time. We just
it
passed.
is.
We just passed about an
So
hour, I think. So,
yeah, let's
um,
wrap it. We're
we have some
supposed to
stuff
be,
to take care of in
aren't we
the
supposed
after
to be at
hours.
like 20 minutes or 30 minutes now
I don't
instead of
know.
an
Well,
hour?
I think this, since we really gotten back up in like video format and everything, we've ramped up to
It's
about an hour, you know.
yeah, okay.
So
Well, then this is right on, spot
we're
on.
right on.
Bam.
We're right on schedule. And then
Yeah,
after hours tends to be right around that same mark. So I know
yeah,
we are going to try to finish up your or implement your quiz funnel. We
yep.
started on it
And I did
last
all
week.
the parts. So anybody that's interested in hanging around for that, I've written out the quiz. I put it on a form. Looks
Nice.
horrific. I'm gonna need
Awesome.
you to figure. I loved
Lovely.
yours with like each page was a different question, and mine just looks like a stupid form. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's
Good.
I'll let you
Good.
help
I'm
me.
glad you didn't mess with it
Um,
anymore because we'll fix that for you.
No, I thought maybe I could figure out, and I was like, "What am
Nope.
I
Don't mess
doing?
with it. Yeah.
Just copy and paste what I've written and put it down, and just leave it alone." So I did that. I did the videos for the each of the four styles. I did the guess what? You're a this. And then boom, boom, boom. That may
Yep.
sound like this or that, it's like it's fast. It's not, they're not long videos because I know it needs to not be, they need to be short. And I think for the person who's least interested, that one is real fast.
Okay.
And then they get progressively longer because I think they have progressively more intent to do
Yeah.
something. And so they get longer with each video. I think I did okay. I'll have you watch them and make sure. And then I have the landing page. I have two versions of the landing page copy. So
Okay.
one's a short version, one's a longer version. You tell me which makes more sense, and
Okay.
we'll kind of piece it together and go from there.
Sounds
I
good.
haven't completed the courses yet. I've started them, the mini course and then the full course. I'm knee deep in it, but I got sidetracked last week creating another course for Udemy, because Udemy is starting to go right.
Nice.
Yeah, it's each month it's progressively getting larger. I'm getting more and more and more subscribers, students in the classes, and it's
Are you
all on
adding to it, or
relationship
is it just
stuff
content that's
anyway.
already there?
Yeah, and so I figure can't hurt. So I took my idea that I had done before that I never finished, which was that series of 12 videos in a series, all the relationship skills, and then
Yeah.
separating each one into a separate skill, making it a separate video course. um, I went ahead and started that. I reworked the old course, left it alone, retitled it, and then I created the couples relationship skills, did communication as number one because that's the foundation. And then I will continually over the next, hopefully, I'm thinking I can do one course every 2 weeks
Okay.
and squeeze it into the rest of the stuff I'm doing so that over the next 24 weeks or 22 weeks, I get the other 11 courses done.
Nice.
And then it is what it is. I'm just going to post them, put them, do them. I realize I put a price on there like $29 or $34 and I get like $2. So I know it's being done. There's some program or coupon or specials or whatever. So it's costing a couple bucks. It's
Yeah.
not a lot.
Right. Right.
But I'm making like about $18 a month now pretty consistently. So I was like, man, that's with two courses. So that's about $8, $7 a piece. It's a little more than that, but it's because I get more on the one course than I do the other. So I'm leaning into the course that made more sense.
Right. Well, it's not about how many courses you sell right now. It's
Right.
again building that up over
It's the
time.
fact
and
that
it's
at this
passive income.
point, yeah, at this point over the last like 6 months or whatever it is, and it's progressively getting bigger, is I made $91 on
Okay.
Udemy. I haven't touched Udemy in 2.5 years.
Okay, there you go.
Except for 6 months ago, I went from offering all my courses for free to charging for them.
Okay.
That's the only change I made. And I made it 6 months ago and I got nothing. And then it was like $1. And then it was like $3, $6. And it's gone up. Now it's 18. And now it's 90 something bucks. And I'm like, dude, I'm at like 18 bucks on YouTube. And it's costing me a couple $100 a month.
Right.
Every month to create the content for it. Like at this point, ROI is Udemy. Like
Right.
I should be really leaning into that. I can't not. So I'm like,
This goes back to one of those questions that's in the book, right? Like, how much time and money are you willing to spend over the next 2 years?
right.
Before,
And
like,
have
and if you're not
something
willing to
coming
spend
in.
that much time, if it's not 2 years for you, like, how long is it?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do we
It's
find? What is a
crazy
win?
too.
What is success
Because
look like?
that other course, the first one I did, is me sitting at the desk yelling at the camera, right? I didn't know what I was doing 2 years ago. And this one now I'm sitting, it looks more professional. I'm really going. This new course is at least 5 times better.
Nice.
And so I'm like, if I do that, I make the course 5 times better. I just went in and looked and like I've got all kinds of reviews. People are like, oh my God, this guy's so forthcoming. He just tells it like it is. Real simple
great.
steps, really easy, really okay. But
I think
super
that's where
not
the
professional.
snowball effect happens. The more people you start
So,
getting through it, right?
yeah. So once I start doing it better, and then I create 1, 2, 3, 4, create a series. Then as they take one, they take a second, third, fourth, fifth, and go through. They're going to tell other people about it. It'll ultimately, it may take the year. for that series to start working.
Right.
But the hope is that it starts paying for what it's costing me to
Yeah.
keep the YouTube going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
I would just
definitely
like to
have,
break even at the end of the month.
right.
Honestly.
Right, exactly. Well, again, like we're laying in all the things, right? We're laying a foundation. It's not
Yeah.
about getting a return right now. We're investing
No.
in our value
No.
and the value we want to provide to people out there. It's going to generate leads. It just takes time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
Unless
So let's
you
wrap
have
up.
a budget. If you have a pretty good budget, then you can expedite that. But
You can shortcut it. I do not.
yeah, I'd just rather not. I'm more a fan of I don't know, fishing with just a hook and seeing if a fish is gonna bite it rather than putting power bait on it and using 5 hooks and I don't know. That's a
Yeah.
really bad analogy, but you know where I was going. So
Yes.
well,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
until next week, mind your business.
Will do.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Gerals and me, CJ Jolliffe. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.